We are beginning with live pictures we're getting out of Melbourne. Again, protesters congregating. Now, so far it's been a pretty quiet day. We have had a few arrests in the past hour, but it does appear the numbers of protesters are beginning to increase. So police arriving in similar numbers. These are shots of Melbourne around St Kilda at the moment. We know they've essentially been all over the place, all over Melbourne, all over the CBD, out to St Kilda, Westgate Bridge, of course, earlier this week. So police won't really know where they're headed at this point. And there have been days when there's basically been a case of cat and mouse, police following protesters at times, wanting to minimise any sort of disruption and violence and obviously injury as well, whether that be to police or protesters. The issue has been the numbers have been too great for them to get a proper hold on it. So as you can see from these aerials, a few gathering, not huge numbers so far, but the reports we've got from our people on the ground there is that they have started to grow in slightly bigger numbers. You can see they're just near a skate park there, interestingly enough, in St Kilda, and police trying to sort of get around them. So the numbers so far not as big thankfully, as they have been in some of the other days in terms of police being able to control this. We know they were nearby here at the Shrine the other day, and that certainly caused a lot of criticism. The numbers of the people, or the makeup of the people, has also been an interesting one. On the very first day, we were basically talking about construction workers for the vast majority, including some CFMEU members. After that, clearly there have been others added to it. We saw people add an anti-vaxxer paraphernalia. We also saw people as part of the so-called sovereign movement in Australia, people from various sort of right movements as well. And it's become a bit of a hodgepodge. Yeah, and yes, look, clearly there are people in Melbourne pretty frustrated with lockdowns in general, but it has been some pretty, I guess, antagonistic people involved so far in these protests. As you can see, some police moving a bit faster there, trying to cordon off perhaps groups there. We'll perhaps go back this hour. You can see some journalists there with cameras. We'll perhaps go back this hour and can you get the latest? Well, it looks like, some arrest there. So a man struggling under a few police. So these are live images coming in from Melbourne, from St Kilda. Seems to be getting pretty willing there. So that seems to be another arrest taking place there at this protest site. And as I said, we'll go back to our reporter and see what's happening there on the ground. That looks like someone nearby just on a bicycle, perhaps just a passerby. And we have been getting some vision from a lot of people. You can see mobile phones there. This is the way of the world now. There was one particularly troubling arrest of a protester that there is an investigation into at Flinders Street Station, which seemed quite violent, and coming up behind that man at that time wasn't showing any signs of violence. So that's being looked into. But these are, live pictures coming in. Look, as I said, we'll come back to our reporter when we can go there live. Reporter Mel Christides on the scene for us. But a few more numbers coming in, a few more arrests beginning. We'll see what the rest of Saturday brings. The protesters had pledged every day for 2 weeks. Perhaps even since then, the makeup of them has changed dramatically. There was a push earlier this week to actually have people wear whatever uniform represented their job, saying, well, perhaps the tradies' uniform was being something that was being criticised as part of it. We haven't seen a huge outbreak then of other uniforms per se, but look, anyway, we'll come back to those shots. It's a live aerial coming in. We'll be right across the situation throughout the afternoon.